Well, hello, everybody. My name is Tim Hay, and I'm the Cooperative Development Director for Nashville Value Point. And I would like to welcome you to the latest webinar series to introduce a brand new portfolio for Nashville Value Point. It's for IT vendor managed service providers. On the phone with us today is Elizabeth Basso from the state of Connecticut. She's the contract lead that led the RFP and negotiated these new agreements for Nashville Value Point, and she's on the phone with us today to introduce this new portfolio. So, Liz, welcome.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the IT VMS webinar. A huge thank you to the sourcing team members, Len here in Connecticut, Karen in Delaware, Mark in Indiana, Connie and Nancy in Nebraska, Julie and Josh in New Jersey, and of course, Tim and Dugan from NASPO. All of these talented people contributed a lot of time, energy, ideas, and experience. Similar to other NASPO contracts, we leverage the buying power of combined states to reduce hourly rates paid to the IT contingent workforce, an ever-growing expenditure in government. The states and territories are represented in 11 regionalized rate cards. This was based on the 11 federal GSA regions. This is a customizable web-based solution providing end-to-end IT contingent workforce services from onboarding to historical usage. Some of the related services available with this contract are reporting, tracking, assistance determining candidates, supplier management tools, oversight, need analysis, consolidated billing, and help desk support. Connecticut is rolling several existing IT professional service contracts into this VMS contract, cutting down on rates and workload. This is the timeline for the RFP process. Vendors attended the pre-proposal conference, either in person or via teleconference. In all, there were about 40 attendees. All of our procurements have a question and answer period. The questions and answers are then posted as an addendum to the RFP. As you can see, there were 2 extensions to the due date. This was due in part to the question and answer portion. Not listed are post-evaluation negotiations that always occur. Here is an overview of the process used to evaluate the proposals. Did they include everything we asked for? Was everything signed? Was it complete and on time? If not, the proposal was not scored. The sourcing team members scored each of the remaining 8 proposals individually against the criteria stated in the RFP. The list of criteria is in order of weight, highest to lowest. Connecticut does not publish weights with our evaluation criteria. As far as shortlisting the 8 proposals, a natural break was noted between the 3rd and 4th scores. It was determined by the sourcing team to draw the line there for the shortlist to evaluate cost. The original intent was to award by region, but since most of the responders bid coverage for all regions, there was no clear determining factor. To summarize, 14 proposals were received, 6 did not supply everything necessary, 8 were evaluated, both individually and as a group, 3 were asked for BAFOs, and all 3 were awarded after agreement to terms and conditions. All 3 vendors, Covendus, Computer Aid, and Knowledge Services, were awarded the IT vendor managed services for all 11 regions through September 2020 with an extension option. The short term is because this is our first attempt at a national VMS, and we'll use lessons learned in the next RFP with a longer term. This is truly an on-demand IT contingent workforce contract. There is a direct cost reduction. This features a web-based system set up for your needs, and there is value added in system reporting and tracking capabilities. Contractors use a vendor-neutral pool. There are soft savings associated with the services of the 3 contracts offered. Refer the individual proposal responses before you're making your decision on which services to include in your PA. The list of position titles with this contract is flexible to allow for emerging technologies. Vendor managed to save you time. Vendor tracks and monitors contingent workforce. Not mentioned here are the contractual measurable SLAs that will be reported on periodically to ensure performance levels are met. PE should also monitor this as well and may request the contractor provide the report for their state. Here are the contract numbers and the contractors: Cavendis, Computer Aid, and Knowledge Services. Contact information is available in the contract on the NASPO Value Point site. At a glance, this is some of the more pertinent information. The VMS fee and rate ranges noted are across all 11 regions. The implementation period is noted per the RFP responses. A small minority commitment was requested in the RFP, allowing states to meet or exceed their disadvantaged or small business needs. You may want to include your small minority commitment needs in your PA. The contractor's direct fill rate was capped at 10%, ensuring that the majority of the work would be fulfilled through the vendor-neutral pool. The VMS fee is tiered based on annual regional spend. Leverage your region, who's using which contractor in your region, and leverage that to your benefit. Remember too, you can negotiate hourly rates, but the VMS fee is capped. The contract did not incorporate the fee into the hourly rate, as some states cannot use a cost-plus model. And as a note, the NASPO admin fee is calculated on the VMS fee only. The agreements, RFPs, pricing, etc. are all posted to the NASPO Value Point website, as well as any updates. That 0 you see under the participating addendum should change soon. If you're not familiar with the systems or the contractor, we encourage you to demo all 3 offerings. Some things to consider when completing your PA are travel costs allowable. Can a contingent work more than 40 hours a week? Where is the work to be performed? Are statements of work needed for all the work? And remember, you can negotiate with the contractors. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions, send me any comments, concerns to my email. We hope you find this contract beneficial to your state or entity, and we look forward to seeing this contract used as your primary IT contingent resource. Thank you, and now back to you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Liz. I appreciate you taking the time today to share these new contracts with us. I'm going to take just a few moments to talk about the participating addendum process and how that works. As you are aware, all 50 states have the ability to access our NASPO Value Point agreements. We have about 63 different portfolios right now through a memorandum of agreement. So it allows all those 50 states and also the District of Columbia and the U.S. territories access to those agreements. Through the participating addendum, states may select which contractors they want to use. They can include their own state administrative fees, include any required or unique terms and conditions specific to their state and their PAs, also identify the options for states and their political subdivisions, and also request any state-specific reporting or other requirements in that participating addendum. Now, there's 3 options for participation, and we always like option 1 the best, and that's when the state will sign a participating addendum for the entire state, which allows all the state agencies as well as all the political subdivisions within that state to access the master agreement through that PA. If for some reason the state chooses not to utilize these services, but they don't have any issues if political subdivisions in their states access these services, then we would encourage them to do option number 2, and that's where they would sign a participating addendum that excludes state agencies but allows all the other political subdivisions in their state to access these agreements. And then option number 3 is where the state chooses not to sign a participating addendum, but there's still options out there for political subdivisions to access these agreements, and I will go more into that detail in just a couple of minutes. So in steps 1 and 2, it's basically direct negotiations between the state and the contractors that they choose from. We do have sample participating addendums located on our website, and I'll show you those in just a few minutes. And the state basically just negotiates directly with the contractor to negotiate all the terms or conditions that's applicable to their state. Liz nor myself do we get involved in your negotiations. However, we are here to answer any questions you may have. If it's a contract interpretation issue, if it's a term or condition you're not sure about in these master agreements, contact Elizabeth. She is the primary point of contact for these agreements, and she would be the best person to ask on those types of questions. If it's a NASPO Value Point PA process question, you can certainly direct those questions to NASPO Value Points, and we'll certainly assist and answer your questions in any way we can. Once you've negotiated your participating addendums and you have a signed agreement from both parties, all you need to do is just send in a PDF copy of that negotiated participating addendum to pa@naspovaluepoint.org. As I mentioned, the steps for opportunities 1 and 2 are exactly the same. This is where the state executes the participating addendum with the contractor. Opportunity number 3 is where a state chooses not to execute a participating addendum. However, a political subdivision wishes to utilize these services. If there are any political subdivisions out there that want to use these services, all you need to do is just send an email into us at info@naspovaluepoint.org, and we will then direct your request to the Chief Procurement Officer in your state to ensure that they don't have any objections with the political subdivision signing their own participating addendum. Now, the reason why we do this is because we recognize that a lot of states have their own in-state cooperative purchasing programs, and we don't want to compete against any in-state program that they may have. So that's why we do this check-in process. So we will facilitate the communication with the Chief Procurement Officer. We will keep the political subdivision in the loop by copying you on the email exchange. And once we receive a confirmation back from the Chief Procurement Officer in that state, and provided that there are no objections, then it's the same process as before, where the political subdivision will just negotiate directly with the contractor to execute that participating addendum. And once you have that executed PA, you can just send that in again to pa@naspovaluepoint.org. Here's a PA process flow chart. It shows the steps. There's 2 different tracks here. Here's the track for states, and here's the track here for other political entities or political subdivisions. And you can see right here, here's the check-in process with the state CPO. This is an important slide here for political subdivisions. If a state has already executed a participating addendum that allows all the political subdivisions in their state to access these services through that PA, we ask that those political subdivisions do not execute a separate participating addendum. There's no need to do that because you can already purchase the services under that state executed PA. Now, we recognize that some political subdivisions may need to have some sort of contractual document to show that there is a relationship between that political subdivision and the contractor. That is great, but please do not use the participating addendum process. Please use some other form of contracting process, whether it's a purchase order, some memorandum of understanding or agreement, some other document, but do not use the PA process. And you do not need to send in that other document to us. The only documents that we want to see are executed participating addendums. Now, the only exception to this is if a state has chosen not to execute a participating addendum, then we do ask that political subdivisions do follow the PA process as I just outlined a minute ago. Some things to remember: we do have sample participating addendums located on the NASPO Value Point website, and I'll show you that here in just a second. We will maintain copies of all the participating addendums on naspovaluepoint.org as well as in our own repository. And as more states participate on this portfolio, the United States map will start to color in blue. The lead state and NASPO Value Point do not get involved or approve your negotiated participating addendums. We do answer any questions you may have, so feel free to reach out to us if you're unsure of something, but we're not here to negotiate on your behalf. And only submit completed and negotiated PAs with signatures from both parties to us. Sometimes we're copied in on communications between contractors and entities trying to execute a PA, and it may be a partially completed participating addendum. We don't want to make the mistake of posting a participating addendum that is not fully executed yet on our website. So please only send in fully negotiated participating addendums that have signatures from both parties, and a PDF format is just fine. So questions, you can certainly reach out to me at thay@naspovaluepoint.org. My phone number is area code 503-428-5705. And let me quickly show you where the items are located on the Nashville Value Point website. So if you go to nashvillevaluepoint.org and just do a search for IT vendor management services will show up here. As we see here, we already have one state that's executed a participating addendum. So if you click on this tab right here, this gives you an overview of the portfolio. And it has copies of the original RFP and all the other documentation that went along with the RFP, as well as the award recommendations. Also, a copy of this webinar will be posted on the website along with the slide deck on this page as well. Here's the United States map I was telling you about. As more states execute participating addendums, the states will start to color in blue. As you can see, Connecticut's already executed their first participating addendum. To access the contractors page, just click on contractors. The 3 contractor tabs will pull up here, and you can just click on the contractor of your choice, and there is a copy of the master agreement right here, and there is a copy of the model participating addendum right here. So if you click on this, a Word document will open up, and you can use that as your starting tool for negotiations. Now, we recognize that some states may have their own standard template for executing participating addendums. That's great. Please just make sure you compare that participating addendum document with this document to make sure you have the latest terms and conditions. Also, this PA on the website also has some negotiations tips and strategies and some things to consider when you're negotiating those participating addendums. Back to the Nashville Value Point website, also the contractor contact information is all located right here, and then Liz's contact information is located up here as well. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on this webinar. We hope you find these new services valuable for your state and entity. And by all means, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to answer any questions you may have. And with that, I'd like to wish you all a great day.